So you know when you go to a store and they sometimes ask for you to fill out the survey at the bottom of the receipt in order to win a gift card? Well, last March, I actually won $5,000 worth of gift cards from Best Buy, and that was a really interesting and exciting time of my life, I gotta tell you. Anyway, my wife and I talked it over, and we agreed to use the money to buy, among other things, a 4K TV for the very first time. We ended up getting this beautiful 65-inch Sony A95K OLED, which was voted by numerous publications as the single best consumer TV from the year 2022. I've had it for over a year now, and it still looks fantastic. It still looks just as good as the day that we got it. I've owned a 4K computer monitor since the year 2017, but that TV makes this monitor look like a Game Boy screen in comparison. It just blows me out of the water every time I use it. But what good is a 4K TV without 4K movies to watch on it? So we also bought a whole pile of 4K movies to go along with it, as well as a state-of-the-art 4K Blu-ray player. All in all, we ended up with 28 4K movies completely for free with those gift cards. And for those who are good at math, 28 is about a quarter of 100. So that's where about a quarter of our 4K movie collection came from. I have this pile upside down. Hey, it worked. There was a whole mixture of movies that we ended up getting. Some of them were considered 4K demo quality, like 2001 as an older film and Dune as a newer film. These are the kinds of films that you plop in a player to really get a good idea of what 4K technology is capable of doing. Some of them were films that I just needed to add to my collection. Like, for example, I got The Phantom Menace and every Star Wars film I was missing to that point on 4K. Films that I probably wouldn't have gone out of my way to get if I had to buy them. I mean, The Phantom Menace on 4K is actually not that good looking. But this was a good excuse to get them for collection purposes. Also got a whole pile of things like Disney movies. Tangled, this film in 4K looks beautiful. WALL-E from the Criterion Collection, another great example of what animated films can look like when 4K is done properly. I'm going to see if I can't find the picture that I took of all of my movies that I got that day. Hopefully I'm showing it on screen right now so you can get a pretty good idea of what all I got. I actually already owned quite a few 4Ks before I got my 4K TV. The very first one I ever picked up was The Last Jedi, which released on home video in early 2018, which was, man, about 5 years before I got my TV. I got this and all future films that I got on 4K between when I got this and my TV. I got this to future-proof myself. All of these 4K titles come with a Blu-ray included, so at that point, why not? You're spending a few bucks extra, but you get a way of watching the movie already, plus you've got a copy that you'll be able to watch in the future on your 4K TV. And for all of the films that came out afterwards that I wanted to get in the best quality possible, I ended up getting the 4K for the most part, like Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. I got these the day that they released in 4K, even though I didn't know it at the time, but I was still years away from having a screen capable of playing them. Since I got my 4K TV, I have been growing my 4K collection a lot faster than I expected, but it was more because of circumstance than intention. For example, when Disney Movie Club announced that they were going to be closing down, I placed a ginormous order with them, including a whole lot of 4K titles that I had wanted and I just needed an excuse to get. I made a whole video about that a few weeks ago. You can check it out in the description below. Also, it'll be in the end title card if you want to wait till the end of the video. But also, Best Buy announced that they were going to stop selling movies, and most of their movies went on sale for ridiculously low prices. So I was able to get films like Die Hard and Speed for only a few bucks each. I think I paid like $5 or less for these. Really, really cheap for some high quality films. In the best quality possible. It was also an excuse to get things like the Best Buy exclusive steelbooks and stuff like that. So I actually didn't own Moana in 4K, but I did own some films, like I didn't bring it out, like Frozen. I already owned in 4K, but they had the Disney 100 steelbook and it seemed like a good excuse to pick it up for really cheap. As of now, I have most of what I want to own in 4K. I do have quite a few, maybe about a dozen titles that I would like to own someday. I just need an excuse to pick them up. But the things that I actually really care about, I own. Like, for example, I own every single Disney animated film available in 4K as of right now. Everything from Snow White to Disney's Wish, which was only available in this Walmart exclusive Steelbook. And that even means that I own Strange World in 4K. And this is not a film I enjoy, but I own it. I own all the Star Wars films in 4K. And between all the Disney animated films and the Star Wars films and Pixar, that's probably over half of my collection right there. The rest of them are a hodgepodge of films that I really care about that are recent to old films that have incredible transfers and made me want to own them in the best quality possible, and everything in between. And I think it's safe to say that now I am a full-blown 4K adopter. It's going to be really hard for me to ever settle for less than 4K, even for films that are deemed not that good in 4K, like Terminator 2 or True Lies, or man, it's all Cameron films, isn't it? Even the 4Ks of those films are still better than the Blu-ray equivalents, so why would I settle for less? And after going through all these films and playing them on my TV, you know, maybe some of them aren't demo worthy, but they still look amazing, and it's hard to believe that most of them will ever look better than this. If they ever do look better, it would only be because there's a better restoration or a better transfer to 4K. It's still the same format. 8K video is never going to happen, just accept it, people. When I watch films in 4K, especially when it is done properly, it can make it feel like I'm watching the film all over again for the very first time. Even films that are close to 100 years old now, or some 4K releases are over 100 years old. And it's really awesome to watch films like The Wizard of Oz, which came out, 85 years ago now? Feel old yet? It's amazing to watch this, and it really does look like it could have been shot yesterday. And that is something that makes me really enjoy watching these films. For anyone who's interested in what my top 10 4Ks are that I own, I made a video about that. That'll also be at the end of the video and in the description below. In conclusion, I love movies. I've always loved movies ever since I was a little kid, and I want to own them. It is a lot more important for me to own these movies rather than have access to a streaming service. First of all, the disc will always look better than a streaming service. But second of all, it's important for me to own copies of them so that if I'm ever in the mood to watch something that I know I'm going to enjoy, I can just walk over to the shelf and pick it up and plop it in the player. With 4K, everything from The Wizard of Oz and Citizen Kane, all the way to Top Gun Maverick and Avatar: The Way of Water, and everything in between. All of those are absolutely worth owning so that I can watch them over and over again, looking the best that they ever possibly can. It feels like 2024 is the year when people are taking ownership of their physical media again, and nothing brings me greater joy than to see a whole lot of people going to the store and picking up a pile of movies, whether it's 4Ks or Blu-rays or even DVDs and maybe VHS tapes. As long as people realize that when they own their movies, nobody can take that away from them, then I think everyone's a winner. That'll bring this video to an end. I welcome your thoughts and opinions about 4K content and about ownership at all in the comments, so be sure to leave one, and be sure to subscribe for future content involving movies and my collection and all that stuff. Let's see, this is going out on Saturday, so May the 4th be with you, and also this movie is back in theaters this weekend. Go watch it. Thanks everyone for watching, and stay tuned for more.